friends, welcome to this new class. We're going to paint this tea kettle. There's something we're gonna do different. We're going to add salt for the bottom part here. And when you look at the reference and you look at the bottom of this tea kettle, you'll see like there's that texture where you can see a little bit of that white, and it's kind of like not rusty, but you have all that dirt crumbled in there, and there's that white spaces there, and that's perfect for salt. This is a rough watercolor paper, by the way, but you could use cold pressed. Arches has been or was my first watercolor paper ever, and I painted on it for years before I started painting on the collection by Honeymoon. But then the collection has been altered so much, like they changed the cold pressed. So Honeymoon, the collection cold pressed has been so entirely changed. It does not feel like cold pressed anymore. It feels like hot pressed. That's why I stopped recommending it and I stopped painting on it. Just in case you're wondering, like, why am I not using that paper anymore? We're going to wet all this part here, and then we're going to apply colors wet on wet. If you need help with how to create a natural shade of gray or how to paint white in watercolors, I have a class specifically about those grays. You want to use primary colors and then you can add other colors to it, but if you stick with those primary colors, you'll notice that you really don't need much more to it. All right, step one, let's wet the kettle, and I just want to show you, this is my Van Dyke brown, quinacridone red, imidazolone yellow, cobalt blue, phthalo blue, indigo, and then raw sienna. I'm holding a flat 20 brush, Da Vinci's Casanel. Now, I'm not worried about going like over right now over the red handle because I'm painting a white subject. All right, I'm going to grab my long coil size 2 brush. Let's feel more yellowish in a way. Let's see. I'm gonna apply it right here. So that's a lot of the color. Maybe I don't need as much. So I wipe my brush on a towel just to remove some of it, but I actually need this to be here. So more of the yellow with my grays. And now this became more like a yellow gray. And I'm actually gonna apply it right on the bottom where I am going to apply salt very soon, because the salt is going to be applied with this first layer. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back here, wipe my brush a little on a towel. The paint is spreading, number one, because I'm using rough watercolor paper, but also like I just finished wetting it and it's just freshly wetted paper. The paint is spreading. You realize that once you paint it, it was not that complicated. With most of the paintings I do, like once you figure out like this layering and everything, like the steps, it kind of makes sense. It's like it's not that really complicated once you know like what to do. What's the next step? What do I do now? Do I have to wait for this to dry, and so on? So I'm going to add a little more here. I'm kind of like using the pointy part of my brush too. And you want to stay on the inside of the tea kettle, because otherwise like you're gonna have paint in the background and that makes no sense, right? So we want to make it clean color application, not too dark here, but I'm going to lift the colors. All right, I think I'm ready for salt before it's too late. So I'm just gonna grab like the tiniest little granules, and only toward the bottom. I didn't really add that much in my other painting. I just want a little bit of that effect. I think that's enough. Maybe a little more here. It's hard with the salt sometimes when you're not used to it, because it's super easy to like overdo it and then you have these big explosions. But as long as you just keep it simple, maybe just a little bit, and on the bottom only. I guess you could go here too if you want to. And I grab a tiny bit more. Just like a little bit. Hi friends, welcome back. So I'm coming back to this painting the next day. So everything has dried and I removed the salt, and I love the effect. So just to give you a little tip, try using very small granules of salt, and if you have like thicker salt, just go to the bottom of that jar and just scoop out like the tiniest little granules, just so you have like a smaller effect, I guess, the little bloomies that we see. And here is my test piece. I want to talk to you about like what we're gonna do next. So what I'd like to do is go for the shadows right here in the middle between the lid, and then we have the rest of the tea kettle. So we want to add the shadow in there. Wet on dry or wet on wet would be fine too. However, you really want to make sure that this is darker right there. So we're gonna do it actually wet on dry. And then if let's say here we need to add shadows underneath the handle too, all this part. So we can use the same method, so apply colors wet on dry. So this is more like water-like ratio. Very steady. You're going to create a shadow basically right underneath the lid. So I'm looking at the reference. All this is darker here. Well, it's all darker for the shadow because it's underneath. And you're gonna go slow. Make sure you see the point of your brush. And go all the way. It becomes thinner because some areas are like more, the lid is touching more the pot. So I flip my, or twist my brush a little bit like this. I rotate it, I'm sorry, I rotate it. So something like this. So now we have a separation and the shadow too. So I'm grabbing my round 8 golden one, this brush, and then I'm going to wet it. So we do have like tiny highlights there. I'm just gonna lift the colors there. So first wet it, control, and then I'm gonna grab this Perel red, more like creamy, and then quinacridone red. And then I'm gonna start right here, see how it spreads. So it's not spreading as much because again, I'm using this creamy paint, and I kind of, I made sure this is not like overly wet, if that makes sense. And I will control it more with a damp brush, but I have to keep grabbing new paint just so I have like this creamy paint on my brush. Otherwise, I keep grabbing water from the paper, right? Because the paper is wet, and I keep diluting it more and more with water. And then we have to remember that the highlights. So we just kind of stay away from the highlights. I kind of lost this little highlight, but I'll just lift it. And then there's like this and like this. And now we have this highlight. This is a smaller area too, so I guess it's easier to tackle it. I'm gonna go with that damp brush here. I'm gonna have to lift because I'm losing that highlight. That's okay. And what we need to do, what I want to do, is re-wet this very gently so we can have some of these flowers that I painted with the first layer. Very gently, I'm going to re-wet it. Like use a softer brush, okay? Softer brush. So now for the poppies, I'm gonna grab this. This is my Perel red and Imina's along yellow. So let's just go for it. And you find some areas you want to have creamy paint, okay? So cream top like ratio between white and paint. I do want to mix the colors. And then this is the area where I was thinking to add some of these flowers here. So I did wet a little bit here. This is where the salt was applied. I guess I don't mind it. And I'm gonna grab some yellow and maybe blue and just go right next to it where you see the centers. And overall, like this is dirty, right? Like the tea kettle is kind of dirty. So maybe a little bit of that there. So for this little part, we could just wet it, and it's gonna go like right here. This is wet on wet. All of it here. Almost easier to, I think it would be easier to apply with the my round 8 golden one, because then I would have more paint on my brush, which is like an example like why it's better to actually paint with a larger brush because you have more coverage. I feel like this is nibbling with like a smaller brush, but it's okay. And then this part is dark. Yeah, this should be done with a larger brush, which is, I'm glad I did it because now you can see the difference. And Here you go. Just using my round 8 just so I can spread the paint better. It's just that when you have a larger brush, it's just easier in a way, more coverage. I'm grabbing more like cream top like Raczynska, creamy paint. Add this for the shadows and more color here. We can also add a little bit here. That's where the red part is gonna be, and maybe a little more blue, I'd say. Although one thing I want to do, okay, last thing, is to lift slightly here underneath this part here, because that's darker and I need a contrast. So like that, and then maybe a little bit here. So basically how we're gonna paint the handle. There you go. You can definitely use masking fluid maybe for like the biggest highlights, although I always feel like it's better not to if that's something that you can lift anyway. So I'm gonna start with these yellow tones. I'm gonna grab some of this raw sienna here, some imidazzolone yellow. This is my area here for the yellows. So I'm gonna apply a little bit of that here. This will also keep my paper wet longer just because I'm applying colors here. A little more, this is milk-like ratio, something that feels like milk. Bright red. If you add too much blue, you will tone it down, so be careful. Quinacridone red, pearl red, and I feel like I want even more of the pearl red right here. So I'm gonna apply it here right away. The highlighted parts are here, right here. So before I go there, I'm gonna actually clean my brush, because right now I have yellows and reds together. So I'm gonna clean my brush, grab some of this milky like ratio of the red again, the quinacridone red and pearl red, not enough of the pearl red. So grab more. Back here, this feels like the paint is spreading too much. I'm gonna go here. So if paint spreads too much, wipe your brush a little bit on a towel or try to grab thicker paint. There you go. So I don't want to like lose my yellows. So I'm very careful the way I apply colors. I'm gonna wipe my brush slightly on a towel and grab a little bit of just the quinacridone red. I need also pearl red. This is not the shade that I want quite. Now just some spots because we have these highlights. There you go, that makes more sense. So you're looking for the mid-tones. I want more of that, the two reds. So mid-tones, whenever I see like the mid-tones, I'm not going for the darkest tones because I'm not adding the blue yet. Anytime you have a question, let me know. I try to explain in every class like why am I using certain colors, the reason behind it. So this is a little darker, but sometimes I'm so used to it that I maybe forget. Perfect. Now I'm gonna grab quinacridone red, some of this phthalo blue, and go here. This is too dark. I'm gonna also grab a little bit of Van Dyke brown. This is way too dark. There you go. And then whenever I see the shadows, it's pretty much where I want it. And then this is shadowed. So the paper is drying a little faster than my test piece, but maybe because I'm talking too. So it's just different. I feel like I had a little more time before. And I'm gonna clean the brush very well. Clean it, and then lift right here. Just so I have the highlights. So I'm gonna lift even harder. There you go, maybe a little here more of that Van Dyke brown. Yeah, I wish my paper was a little wetter. So that's just a mistake on my part. Like I should have waited a little longer. There you go. That's pretty much it. I'm going to show you the version again with the background so you can see it. So here's my version with the background. Here's the version with no background. It just depends what look you're going for.